Hi YouTube, welcome back to another video from Wtf Rc Cars, and today really excited to bring you the new Flysky transmitter. So this is going to be the kind of mid-range below the MB4 but above the likes of the G7P sort of thing. This one is the FS G11P. So as the name suggests, we've got 11 channels. It is running ANT protocol, so we're going to have really cheap and a huge choice of receivers. All the ones that work with the ST8 and the G7P all work straight away with this. We have telemetry, GPS compatibility. We've even got receivers with built-in speed controllers. So if you're into the sort of Tamiya range, they work absolutely amazing in them. You can just drop in the ESC receiver all in one, and you've got a nice cost-effective combo to get your RC up and running. But let's chat and let's bring you in and give you a close-up look and see what we get with this one. So straight away, I can tell you it really looks like Flysky as a company is growing up. We're getting a lot more professional packaging, and it looks like we're getting a lot of sort of response to feedback that we've had from customers and everything, and the likes at reviewers. There's a lot of changes on this transmitter, and yeah, it's making me really excited for the future and what we may see from Flysky. So we have the box, we have one of the codes, QR codes with the scratch off, so you can make sure you're getting a genuine transmitter. We got a few specs on side, and I'll quickly run through just a few of them. So your transmitter is the FS G11P. We've got 11 channels, 2.4 gig ANT protocol. The transmitter will operate from 6 to 9 volt DC. You can run it off two 18650, so the vape style batteries, or you can run it off a 2S LiPo. It is set up out the box to run either one. Your receiver is the FSR11P, again 11 channel ANT protocol. It'll operate from 3.5 to 9 volt, so quite a range that you can have for your BEC. So let's get in this, and again, this to me is just a sign of things to come from Flysky. We've got a lot more premium sort of packaging. I really like this hard cell case with a carrying handle. So if you haven't yet got a transmitter bag, you've got an option of using this. Nice quality logo on it. Again, adds a bit more premium to the premium feel to the brand. Really like these plastic clips. And we've got a nice home that our transmitter can live in. So let's quickly have a look what we get. So this is the receiver we get standard with it. So it's the FSR11P. We've got a bind button, so no having to mess around with bind plugs or anything to set this up. It does come with the battery voltage detection cable, so that'll plug into this top slot, and then you can monitor your external LiPo, so the vehicle's LiPo or a separate LiPo powering lights or anything, and you can have that relayed to the transmitter. We've got as 11 channels. The negative is all to the right hand side, then positive, then your signal. We've got a little status LED, and it does say PPX4 water resistant. We do have legend on side, so as top one VCC or BVD. Then we can use the next one down as a bind, so if you do break the button, you've got an override option. But yeah, quite a small footprint for an 11 channel receiver, so I can think of lots of uses for this. Then we do get our accessory pack, so we get as instructions that we don't read because we know everything, don't we? We've got a nice quality USB cable, and this is USB-C. I really do like these Flysky branded cables that they're using. They're really nice and thick, good quality cable. Please, if you're doing firmware updates and charging the radio, try to use this cable. the number of people that reach out to me and they say, assistant's not seeing my transmitter, and it's usually because they've got a dirt cheap cable that's just a charge cable. Tends to be a little bit less with the USB-C types, because a lot of phones and everything, they come with a USB-C cable, but it is nice that we've got USB-A on this end. Just makes it a bit more compatible. You can charge it off at PC and everything else. Anything with the USB-A type connector should charge it. So that's that. We've then got a separate grip, and this is the large. So if you feel you need a bit more sort of grip into your palm, you can fit this one. And this is something that I like to see. So it does come, if I don't throw it through a box somewhere, so it does come with some soft steering spring, and you also get a hard steering spring, so you can change out your actual tension spring on the steering. And it does come with these two little grub screws, and I believe they're to restrict the amount of travel on the wheel. Might be wrong, we'll have to look up at that when I go through more in depth on the actual radio itself. But yeah, it is nice to see that we get all this with it, and it will all fit back in case, so we can keep everything together, and you can keep all your accessories in your case so you don't lose them. I do like that. Now, moving on to the star of the show. So this is the new transmitter. So I've got the optional handle fastened to it. It does come in the box. You do get a blanking plate for this. And behind this is the micro SD card slot. I do like the idea of this. If anything gets dropped on the transmitter, or you drop the transmitter, there's a good chance this will just stop you breaking your screen. So I do like the idea of this. Also really convenient to pick it up if you're passing it someone. You do get another spot on this for a lanyard, and you do get the one on the back. And many moons ago, Flysky were good enough to send me out one of their own lanyards, so I can demonstrate that to you. So it's nice. It's a big enough hoop to fit quite a chunky lanyard through, and it's nice and solid. So yeah, if you're one of the guys that like to race with lanyard around your neck so you don't drop your transmitter, it's got you covered. This is metal, so you do have aluminium ring fixed to the back, and as I say, you can just swap the blanking plate out and fit this. It does come in the box. Controls wise, it is crazy the amount of options you've got. So we've got 4 programmable buttons up top. You've then got your sort of jog controller, stick controller, where we push it in to get into menus, up, down, left and right, and then power button backs out. So it doubles as a power button and your back. We've got lights on front and rear. Then if we come round to the control side, we've got another button on the grip. We've got a multi-position, so 3-position switch towards the back of the transmitter. We've got an on-off switch or a 2-position switch. We've then got a jog dial that's fully assignable. Then if we look further down, you've got a rocker that you can assign. You've then got a variable dial that you can assign. Then moving up to the wheel itself, lovely foam wheel, really impressed with this. And it does, everything about this transmitter does feel quality. Personally, I much prefer the foam to the plastic. I know it was one of the things that we got a lot of comments on for the G7P when that was initially released with the plastic. They did later release a version with the foam wheel, and a lot of people upgraded to that and much preferred it. It's strange, but the wheel does really affect the quality or the feel of quality of the transmitter. And at the minute, it's a nice smooth action. It feels like it strongly centers itself, which I do like on a transmitter, especially with wheel transmitters. These are removable, but you can't swap sides with it. So you cannot transfer this over to the other side. interesting that Flysky's made this removable. Wondering if we're going to get different options or different spaces maybe. But that's yet to be seen. It does just have pogo pins on the back of this, so once you're under these you can just pop it off. Really easy, you're not breaking ribbon cables or anything. Also, it'd make it easy to replace this should you drop it hard and break it. 2 screws, pop the new one on, 2 screws back in, you're back in action. So moving along with the controls, we've got trims spaced around the top of the wheel. So these can all move left and right. Then you've also got a 3-position switch on the left of the wheel. You've got a 3-position switch on the right of the wheel. You've got this button at the bottom that you can just press. So they're all really easy to get to from the actual wheel itself. It wouldn't be difficult to just knock these and change them, but they are far enough away that under normal use, you're not going to be hitting these accidentally. The rest of the controls, all very easily within reach of your thumb. The adjustment for the tension is on the bottom, so we've got a little grub screw and we can adjust that. Then moving along to the trigger, we've got an adjustable span on the trigger so you can move this front part. You can also move the position of where the trigger actually is, and it's a bit difficult to get it on camera, but you've got a few lines here and you adjust it with that on the end and it will physically move the entire trigger forward and backwards. You've got tension adjuster right under there, so nice and easy to get to it to add or remove tension without changing the spring. Another scratch off little sticker here to prove that you've got a genuine transmitter. As you see, there's none of these controls on the opposite side, so it is a right-handed transmitter only. You're still limited to the more expensive MB4 Plus and Pro Plus if you want the fully adjustable wheel and the sort of dual-sided nature. The battery compartment on this, I really like this layout. So grab yourself some 18650s. These are from Amazon, and I'll pop a link in the description below to them. They work exceptionally well. The 2,800 milliamp hour, which will give an absolutely ridiculous amount of runtime, and you can unplug these. There's 2 little screws at the bottom of this battery tray, and the whole tray comes out, leaving this entire space for a LiPo battery if you don't want to use 18650s. And inside here you've also got, rather than the sort of 3-pin balance cable connector, you've got the standard JST socket, the little red plugs. So no soldering, no cutting webbing out or anything is required if you want to swap between 18650s and LiPo packs, but I highly recommend running 18650s. They're very cheap to get. There's loads of places you can get them from, and they're a very hardy battery. They're designed for running in vapes and torches. So yeah, you get an awful lot of cycles out of these things. So, last but not least, if I kind of stopped biting my fingernails, I'd have to be able to not do this with screwdrivers, but we have a nice rubber seal that goes over as USB-C that can be used for charging or programming. Then you've also got the DSC connection. Usually that's for trainer mode, but we'll have to see what stuff we've got on the firmware on this transmitter. So let's power it up. And the first thing you'll notice is how clear and bright this actual screen is. It is a gorgeous screen. I'm pretty sure this has turned down to about 50% as well. If I can remember where it is. I've not had long to play with this. Yeah, so his backlight is only on 50%. You can go in here and change it to whatever you're running it off. So it has got specific settings for 18650s, 2S LiPos, or a custom battery. Depends what you want to run it off. But yeah, we've got an awful lot of options on here. So we start on main screen. We've got a timer, dual rate for steering, throttle and back. You've got your transmitter voltage readout. Your other sensors will show up here. We have the screen that shows the actual position of his throttle and everything. We've got a steering and throttle trim.
Midpoint trim.
And you do get the voice, and it's a lot more natural voice. It sounds far less computerized.
Midpoint trim.
You can change volume and everything of that as well. You can change your names of your models, everything. But if I just run through this menu, I'm just going to quickly touch on everything on here, because anybody that's seen my channel knows I do a real deep dive into what all these settings do. But a very natural way of navigating the menu. It's not a touch screen. So we've got as servo reversers, endpoints, sub trims, dual rate, curve, channel speed, ABS, throttle idle up, throttle lock, cruise control, change your throttle type. Then if we go into as auxiliary, this is where you'd set what each channel does. So you can go in here, you can give it a name, and then you can say what it's controlling. And you've got all 11 that you can assign on there. Then your assignment menu is for your buttons and your functions, and you can change what it actually does. So all the K buttons are listed. If you go on here, then you can list all your switches, and you can change its function and reverse it. Then you've got all your trims, and on there you can see steering and throttle's already set, but you've got 2 more trims that you can set up. And then finally, you've got your variables. So this jog dial and the one down on the actual just above the grip itself. So yeah, a whole bunch of things you can change. And it is really intuitive to use. All your mixers, so 4-wheel steer, track, drive mix, brake mix, and then a whole bunch of programmable mixers. You've got your timers where you can change it, where it triggers on throttle or not. You can have up timer and loads of other stuff. I find that really useful if you're practicing for racing. And I think this would be a cracking transmitter for somebody that's getting into maybe racing the MO7s, the TTO2s, the little Camtex or something. If you're racing on a budget, you're getting a lot of race features on this that would be useful, and it's useful to learn and get to know what they do if you ever want to progress up to likes of the MB4 Plus or the Noble Pro Plus, and you're moving on to a more professional race car, something that really needs faster response and everything, but you're gonna have the understanding of what the functions are from this transmitter, so it'd be a very easy swap over. Then you've got all your sensors where you can have them as you bind it to a receiver and add more sensors. They'll all show up. You can set which sensors display on screen, on main screen. Your speed and distance calibration for them sensors. You can calibrate your voltage detection, battery voltage detection cable. So if you've got a really sensitive multimeter, you can get an absolute reading of your battery. Then you can make the BVD read exactly what your multimeter is. You've got the altitude sensors and the GPS module. It's compatible with both them. Then we got as model select, so you can select your model, name it, copy or reset. You've got your RX set where this is where you'd go for the settings for your receiver. So how you bind it up, your fail safes, the iBus setup. Don't get that confused with iBus 2 from the MB4 Plus and the range. This is standard iBus, so the standard iBus sensors will work with this. So any sensor that would work with the ST8 or G7P should work fine on this. Then we've got ESC set up, and that's for the controlling of the Flysky ESC receivers, where it's all built in one. From memory, I think I've got 2 of those. I've got one that's aimed at like a 1/10 and one that's aimed at a much smaller one. So then we've got a system menu where we can do is calibrate, turn off the failsafe tips, update your transmitter, factory reset, help or about. Then we've got the stability control menu, so when we have that bound up to one of the SVC receivers, you can go in there and configure all that. And then you've got beginner mode, where you can restrict your throttle and that, and you can turn beginner mode on and off. And if you just want to sort of one click, turn it on, and then pass it to a youngster or someone that's less experienced, just learning how to get into RC. But yeah, an awful lot of different options. Then you've got your shortcut, where you can bring all your channels up just to monitor them, see what's going off. If you go on test, it'll test your servos, so it'll slowly move every channel. Then you can cancel it. But then we've got all the buttons that are programmable. The lights, you can have reflecting the battery level, or you can have them changing, set for a different colour for each model. As I said, I do a whole load of in-depth videos showing all the functionality of these. But yeah, Flysky, this is definitely giving me a lot of hope for the direction of the company. I mean, if this is going to be your new sort of entry-level transmitter or entry-level fully programmable transmitter, it's making me wonder what else we've got down the line. There's a lot of people ask me why I use the Flysky transmitters, and anybody that's watched my channel from the beginning, this is the reason I like Flysky transmitters so much. This is my original MB4 that I bought with my own money, no contact from Flysky at all. And I was so impressed with this that I let my brother have a go. He went straight out and bought one. I let one of my mates have a go. He went straight out and bought one. And these are the original MB4 radios right back from beginning. And all three of our transmitters, all the receivers, still work perfect to this day. And to start with, I was racing with this transmitter. I've got really good results with it. I've then gone on, as Flysky reached out to me, I've gone on and I'm using the Pro Plus, the MB4 Plus. I've used them all. And they just do what they meant to. They're very easy to program. There's, thanks to the guys at Sky, the Flysky transmitters, if you break any part of it, they make it so easy through Sky to just get the part that you want and fix your transmitter. One of the things that I've heard and experienced while we've been racing, there's a lot of the other brands that if you break a screen, they won't sell you a screen. If you break a wheel, they won't sell you the component. They'll just insist you send it off to them, which means you're without your transmitter a long time. You're waiting for parts. It's expensive to post it. You have to send them secure post. Then you're waiting for it to come back. I just love the way that the Flysky transmitters, if you break a part of your transmitter, there is a huge chance you can get it really quickly from Sky. Just replace it yourself, minimise the downtime. And much as we do with the RC cars, there's nothing stopping you buying a few spares just in case. We do it with those cars that we bash and that we race, so yeah. But yeah, really excited about the direction Flysky's gone with this. There's no price as yet because I've been given this and doing this video way before release, so big shout out to Flysky for that. It does let me have a good look around these transmitters, really get to grips with them and try them out. And as I say, I am really, really happy with this. The response is really good. The feel's really good. I like the way you can tune all the throttle position. You can change the tension foot wheel and everything. I love that it comes with multiple spring options as well. Really like this. For me, as much as anything, it's just that added bit of protection. But yeah, it's ergonomically, it feels fantastic. The quality of the switches feel really positive. They don't feel like you're accidentally going to be nudging stuff, but nothing feels flimsy or cheap. really appreciate the foam on the wheel. It does give it a quality feel. And just the little aluminium touches where they make sense on the actual contact points for your lanyard. It's where it's going to get knocked about. Yeah, I think Flysky have absolutely hit it out the park with this. You do have the attachment point on the front where you can fasten the phone holder. They're pretty cheap, and I believe it's the same one as the G7P and ST8. In fact, we can test that theory. Because this is kind of the lower range G7P, and this, although it's a nice transmitter, I've not had any problems with it. I've done a lot of videos with this, but this certainly looks and feels more premium, and I love the screen layout and the sort of menu. It just seems more intuitive on this than how it is on this, where you're pressing back to come out of a menu and up and down to go left and right. Certainly much prefer this. So if you want the phone holder, and I'm sure I've seen these for sale on SourceSky, but yeah, very easy to fasten on, and then you've got an adjustable phone holder. And to be fair, it does match with the alloy parts. So yeah, if you want a phone holder on it, that option's available too. And you've got a big enough base that it's not going to instantly fall over. But yeah, if this is the if this is a sign of things to come from Flysky, I am extremely excited for the future of Flysky as an RC transmitter company. This is definitely a huge step in right direction. The micro SD, the other options we've got, which, yeah, I'm guessing quite a few guys are going to like this, but as standard, we've got 40 memory slots. Now, this is something that I've heard people request time and time again. We want more memory slots. So not only have you got 40, but we've got the micro SD card as well. Be interesting when we get having a play with it, see what we can do with that micro SD card slot. But really easy to swap models. Just jump into them and do them. And then we've got copy model. So we can copy one model to next, and then just click copy. I haven't got an SD card in it, so I'm not sure what the functionality that'll be. But yeah, Flysky, I think you've absolutely hit it out of park with this. Quality-wise, feel-wise, ergonomics, it just doesn't feel in any way that it's a cheap transmitter. And the main point, what I see with all these colour screens, is when they're not bright enough. And usually I have to turn my main overhead light off in here because it's quite a powerful LED light. It overpowers the screen, but as you've seen, this is on 50% and it's easily visible. I just love the font and everything they've used. It's so clear, so bright. The memory system, so intuitive to use, and it's fast. Everything you click on, it just does it straight away. Definitely one of the bugbears of mine, if I'm using an electronic device and I press for a menu and then it doesn't do it, I press again and then it jumps twice because it's catching up. None of that with this. Really like it. But yeah, that's the first look at the FS G11P and what you get. And Flysky, I think you've absolutely nailed it. So let's wrap this one up. So there you have it. That's the unboxed first look at the FS G11P. And yeah, I suppose you can tell from this, I'm trying not to gush too much over this. Hopefully we'll get a price soon when it's closer to release date. But I'm thinking this is going to be a popular transmitter. I know not everybody likes touchscreen, and definitely the way they've made this menuing system work and the controls for it, really nice. It's a sharp feeling transmitter. It looks good, I must admit. I've seen far worse looking transmitters. I love the little light accents on it. Yeah, it's just a cracking little transmitter. But, as always, anything you want to know about it, if you want to leave comments, join my Facebook group where you can ask me stuff on there, put in requests, and then I'll try and get through all these questions, and I'll go through and cover it in a more in-depth, in detailed view of each function, how you set things up on it, what its limitations are. But yeah, for me, Flysky, I think yet again you've done a cracking job. So thanks again for watching WTF Rc Cars. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and catch you guys again in the next one.